You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. During the next hour, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Welcome to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. 312-255-8408 is our number. On this beautiful day here in Chicago, Father Greg Sakowicz, the rector of Holy Name Cathedral, and co-host Mark Teresi. We are live streaming. We are physically distancing, though we both had our second shots.
Yes.
And yours was last Wednesday. Mine was on Saturday. So how's your weekend, Mark?
Was very interesting. Saturday I sang for Father Bob McGinnity's funeral mass at Sacred Heart in Palos.
He was your former pastor, wasn't he?
No, his brother Father Joe McGinnity was.
Okay.
And what a tribute to him. People he was a priest, and he was a big Notre Dame advocate. In fact, they said don't ever plan your wedding in the fall when Notre Dame was playing at
Especially
home.
a home game. He was there.
But what a great tribute. And then we went from that to our little granddaughter, Lydia's 6th birthday.
Is she 6 now?
I can't believe it.
I remember the day she was born.
I remember that. And
Lydia's now 6.
Yeah, and our daughter-in-law, you've known since she was how old? She was a little girl.
About Lydia's age.
At St. Mary of the Woods. And then our son met her in the choir, and they have 4 beautiful daughters.
Unbelievable. And also, congratulations to the Loyola Ramblers.
Yes.
You and I are both graduates of Loyola University.
Yes.
Through Niles College Seminary. I was class of 75. You were class of 77. And I'm telling you, Illinois has a great basketball team and program, but I think they were truly outcoached, and I would call the Loyola defense suffocating. They play a suffocating defense. They swarm you. 2 great teams, and Loyola's not really a Cinderella team. They're the real deal.
Yeah, our son's an Illini alum, and we were texting back and forth during the game, and he got quieter and quieter in his texting.
I only saw the first half because I had the 12:30 Mass at the cathedral, and then I caught the last 10 seconds of the game when we were just dribbling the ball and thought, I'll tell you, this would be, now you got so many, I'll tell you, if anybody still has a perfect brackets out there, please call us. 312-255-8408, because brackets have been broken with a 15 going on, a 13 going on, a 12 going on, and that's why they call it March Madness. But we better get to our program. So, Mark, lead us in.
Sure. We're welcoming today the Base Chicago. The Base Chicago reimagines pathways to success for urban youth. They combine sports, academic opportunities with a distinctive methodology rooted in excellence, belief, and love. The organization provides a range of programming, including academic, STEM tutoring, violence prevention, and life skills, healthy lifestyle guidance, high-quality baseball and softball skills training. My wife would be thrilled. She's a softball fanatic. Mm-hmm. The Base Chicago's clubhouse and learning center is a beacon of hope on Chicago's west side. The goal is to ensure that 100% of Base student athletes graduate from high school and have the support and resources they need to develop their individual game plans for success, whether that includes going to college or entering a job training program. They focus on developing good citizens who make good decisions, steering away from violence, gang activity, and other negative balances to their talents and goodness. And we welcome Eric Davis, Frank Brim, and Rich Schulz from Base Chicago. Welcome, gentlemen, to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Having us.
Are you all there?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Now, a little story, Mark, and that is Rich and his family were at St. Mary of the Woods. Rich, you arrived at St. Mary of the Woods in what year?
It had to be 15 years ago when I sat in your office and I looked around the room thinking, wow, this guy has a lot of sports memorabilia. And that's what made me think of you and the base.
You're right. My office was all filled with sports memorabilia and photos. Now, Eric, because Rich knows I love sports. Now, what people may not know is that Eric Davis was the captain of the 1982 Houston collegiate basketball team with the NCAA Final Four, and he was part of Phi Slamma Jamma, which would have been Eric Davis, Akeem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler, and Eric, who was the fourth guy?
Well, there were a number of guys on that team. We didn't know that they were all on that team when we were kids playing. Cadillac Anderson was part of that group. Michael Young, whose son played for Rutgers yesterday.
Wow.
Larry Mishaw, who was a first-round pick as well. Hakeem and Clyde Drexler, Lyndon Rose. All of those guys were first, second, or third-round picks, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. And something that you may not have known, Father, is that I was actually going to Loyola before I decided to go to Houston. But Coach Jerry Line got fired. And then I decided to go to Houston between USC and the University of Houston.
Where'd you go to high school, Eric?
I went to Amundsen High School on the north side of Chicago.
Foster Avenue.
Yeah. Do you remember Mr. Jim Gemsky?
Absolutely. He was the wrestling coach and the baseball coach and a great counselor. And many of the things that we use at the base, I've stolen from people like Mr. Gemsky.
Yeah, in fact, Jim Gemsky was very active with his wife, Jo, at St. Mary of the Woods. I think didn't live too far from Rich and his family. Wonderful man. And now you were part of that 82. Now you were the captain. You were in the Final Four. Did you lose the championship game to Georgetown that year?
No, that was actually 84. The year we lost actually in the semifinals to a team with a few unknowns. They had James Worthy and Sam Perkins and a young skinny kid named Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that was in the Final Four.
We lost in the semifinals, and North Carolina went on then to win the national championship against Georgetown.
Now, don't forget, Father, we're supposed to talk about
Chicago. I forgot. Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about that. But
back.
Wait, no. One little sidebar, and that is your Houston team is now in the final Sweet 16, and there's a chance that Houston would face Loyola the next round, Eric?
Yeah. Not the next. It would probably be for the championship of the Midwest region.
The region. So to get into the Final Four could be. And ironically, the Loyola Ramblers have the #1 defense in the nation on the collegiate level, and Houston ranks #2.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I'll tell you what, Father. I am, of course, an avid and rabid Houston fan.
Oh yeah, you're a graduate.
But my second team is definitely the Loyola Ramblers. Being a North Sider, being a kid that spent a lot of time on that campus, growing up and developing basketball and social skills and hanging out at the beach, that's my second team. So I wish Loyola was in another bracket and we could possibly meet in the Final Four.
In the Final Four. Well, now we have to get off this topic about the NCAA. So now either Rich, Frank, or Eric, tell us about the history of Chicago Base or Base Chicago.
Frank,
Eric,
please.
you want to go ahead?
No, Frank can tell us, please.
Go ahead, Frank.
Well, thank you for having us. Well, the base started with a program in Boston. Actually, they came to Chicago and they wanted to see how many things that we had that we agreed upon in terms of where the baseball program should go. And we had a program on the west side of Chicago that was doing well in terms of undergirding our children with good information, and we kind of partnered. And so 6 years ago, they decided to form the Base Chicago with the base, and it's just been a something sent from God in terms of how it's impacted our communities, how it's impacted communities in Boston, as well as Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. So the base started just like any other program. I think we wanted to just provide our kids with good, healthy baseball. But shortly after that, we decided that we had to do so much more. So then we had to start implementing the academic support, counseling where needed, and just helping the kids overall, holistically. And so where we are today is because of Robert Lewis in Boston, Eric Davis, Rich Schulz, all the people that have come together and said that we have to do this for our community. So it's about restoring our community. That's what the base is all about. In a nutshell, restoration for our community is the most important thing. And in order to do that, we understood that we have to change the thinking, because it's been systemic thinking, it's been historic thinking in our communities, and that's what the base is about right now.
That's wonderful. Now, this is Mark Tracy, I've spent almost 10 years at Mercy Home for Boys and Girls, working with Father Jim Close, Father Scott Donahue. Mm-hmm. And the goal of Mercy Home sounds like your goal, which is to change or to save lives. Mm-hmm. Would any of you want to speak to that? Maybe Rich, could you speak to, this program saves lives. How does it do that?
So I think what attracted me to this program is the platform, the kids that are involved, and their dedication. And then also these two leaders, Eric and Frank, are some of the most passionate people I've ever met. They've dedicated their entire lives to service. Mm-hmm. One was a Chicago police officer for 27 years, Eric, and then Frank was a captain of the fire department when he retired after 30 years. So having started to know them 3 years ago, the Executive Club of Chicago introduced me to them because I'm a commercial real estate broker. And as I got to know them, they became very close friends. And I got to know the platform and how determined these kids are. It was just them seeking opportunities. So I said to myself, okay, well, the opportunities, I knew that one of the obstacles was access to quality education. And so I said, that's one thing that I could help with. I was born and raised through the Catholic school system, from preschool through graduate school.
Now, Rich, where was that? Was that in Chicago?
I went to grade school in Moline, Illinois at Seton Catholic, went on to St. Francis High School in Wheaton, then went to Loras College in Dubuque, Iowa for undergrad, and then Loyola University in Chicago for graduate school. And so being raised in the Catholic system, it was instilled in me to serve and help others. So I sat back. I love these guys. I love their mission. I said to myself, how can I best help them? I went to the Catholic school system immediately and the network 3 years ago. Bennett Academy is where my children go. They embraced the base. They had Eric out, and he spoke in front of 150 people. Then there was St. Petronell and Glen Ellen, Loras College. Jim Collins has been fantastic. And so my goal is to simply get them in front of as many people as possible, and that's where my network lies, is in the Catholic school system. So it's been successful. I'm just trying to do as much as I can to expose them to that system as much as I can, because what we've realized is there's another idea we had is the Catholic schools enrollment was traditionally down. I knew they had the infrastructure in place. I knew they had the passionate teachers, and then it was they see no district boundaries, so they will accept anybody from outside the district. And so I said to myself, okay, the whole obstacle is money, so I feel like we can solve for that, and that's what we've realized we could. Is we've reached out to different organizations, and it's creating awareness to all the base kids and their families of the scholarship opportunities, Empower Illinois, tuition assistance from the different schools, and then individual donors. A lot of these kids and their families simply wrote off those schools because of the money, and that's what I want them to realize. Like, there's opportunity to access these schools still, and that's what we've been trying to push, because there are so many kids that are that want the education, that are committed. And so that's been our goal, is to just simply create awareness and let them choose what they want to do.
That's great. We're going to take a little break. What a great team. What a great, every one of you.
And this is tell you, these three guys, Eric and Frank and Rich, this is your Phi Slamma Jamma right here.
It sure is. It sure is. And you know what? Father Greg would like a picture of all three of you autograph for his office because it will add to that Hall of Fame. We're going to take a little break. WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. Catholic Chicago, numbers 312-255-8408. We're speaking with Eric Davis, Frank Brim, Rich Schulz, and we're going to come back and talk more about the base Chicago. I'd like to ask them for some stories of young people who have gone through and have been involved in base Chicago and how you've seen their lives change. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Hey, it's Timothy Johnston here from Liturgy Training Publications. Over the past few months, I'm sure you've found yourself at home more, whether it's working from home or watching live stream masses on Sunday mornings. As we began adjusting to this at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the things I missed the most was gathering with friends at the parish. That's why we at LTP have created this new virtual gathering series called Living the Sunday Word. We meet virtually on Thursday evenings each week and reflect on the upcoming Sunday readings. And with that, we share stories to help us more fully reflect on the Word of God. I'm inviting each of you to join us, a group of friends meeting virtually from all parts of the country. So visit ltp.org for more information and to register. You won't want to miss this.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths aged 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
We invite you to watch Catholic Chicago this weekend, featuring a conversation with Cardinal Blaise Cupich and video highlights from across the Archdiocese. Here's host Todd Williamson.
The effort to get vaccinated, why the Church is helping to spread the word. We'll go inside the classroom as a national study shows how Chicago's Catholic schools are keeping students on track during the pandemic. And too many people are going hungry. We'll visit a food pantry where Catholics are working to meet that need.
Watch Catholic Chicago Friday at 7 p.m. on Chicago Loop Cable, Channel 25, and Sunday afternoon at 3 on the Comcast Network, Channel 100.
We're back. WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. Catholic Chicago, Father Greg Sackowitz, Mark Teresi. We're live streaming here. We're distanced. We have our mask on. And we're speaking with Eric Davis, Frank Brim, Rich Schulz from Base Chicago. Frank, my time at Mercy, I'm still connected to Mercy Home, but you never leave a mission that you're passionate about. And you, off the air, Father Greg and I were saying, all three of you are so passionate.
No question.
About this mission. What a gift to these kids. Frank, is there a story maybe that stands out to you in terms of one one of the lives of one of these young people that really has impacted you or that has kind of re-energized you to the mission here? Frank?
And the community engagement. Hello.
There. Okay.
Frank, yeah.
Yeah, I got my start at the Marillac House. I actually worked there as a group leader, and in the early '80s, back in 1980, and I saw that how lives can be changed because of decisions. Because so many of the young people that had so much potential just didn't understand exactly about the ills of the community. And so, and then my time on the fire department, I just got sick and tired of seeing young people with bullet holes in them, and
Wow.
it kind of changed the way I thought about, have I done enough? And so for me, there's so many, when you ask that question, so many young people whose faces flash before my eyes, who I know that just needed a little help, just needed a better influence in their lives. And sometimes a coach. So I thought about in my personal life, all those coaches that played a role in my life helped me to make better decisions. And I just said, you know what, it's time for me to, even while raising my 4 children, and there's still more that I can do as an individual. So we say that baseball is just our bait, but we know that love is the hook. So we start thinking about, how we need to love our children more, because it's the relationship building.
Now, Frank, are you Chicago born and raised, Frank?
I'm Chicago born and raised, South Side, moved to the West Side in 1980. And I had some great mentors, and I took that for granted. I wish I pay homage to them every day because of how they impacted my life. When I stepped out of line, got in trouble, those coaches and those men would pull me aside because my father was not there. And of course, we deal with a lot of that in our community. And but that player-coach relationship, it gives us an opportunity to kind of intercede on behalf of our children to, when we build those relationships, they start believing what we teach them. They believe what I say about baseball. Now they believe what I say about life.
Now, it's very
sex,
interesting, Frank, as I'm listening to you, you are literally, from the coaches you had and mentors and people that really encouraged you, you are now passing it forward.
Yes.
You're passing forward. Now, maybe for you, Eric, share a story that has touched your life about a young person, Eric, that keeps you energized in this wonderful ministry.
Well, there are a number of stories, as Frank has said. When we initially decided to take on this challenge, we were just an idea. Theo Epstein, who is our honorary board chair, asked Frank and I to create this organization that they were running successfully at the base. But after he saw, once he got to Chicago, the things that were happening in neighborhoods like West Garfield Park and North Lawndale and Inglewood, he wanted to impact those neighborhoods with positive programming. We arrived and, we had no children. It was just an idea. And we saw the things that were happening in West Garfield Park. There were a number, if you remember, of schools that were closed about 4 or 5 years ago. The schools were underperforming that were still available in that community. And, we're aware that, education is the key to having a successful future. And the educational system in many of these neighborhoods had become chaotic for a number of reasons. And we thought that, we're going to give these young people a great athletic experience because that's what will draw them to the building. But once we got them in the building, Frank was a former athlete as well. He was a Major League Baseball player.
What team?
And I was an NFL football player along with playing at the University of Houston. And we know what the real numbers are for every young man that dreams of making a living out of becoming a professional athlete. Those numbers and opportunities are very, very slim and almost impossible. But we knew that there was a room to make school teachers and police officers and firemen and attorneys and accountants. And we knew that had to come through education. And when we spoke to Rich and Rich spoke about the Catholic school system, we know it's a solid system because we're both from Chicago, and we just set out to get our kids within these programs to enhance their lives and their families' lives. And as I tell my children, the lives of your children that you don't even know their names yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we really incorporated a strong educational tutoring program that's done really well with some teachers that have volunteered. And we had 10 kids this year go to selective enrollment high schools.
That's wonderful.
And that's huge for us because these kids, none of our kids had even heard of selective enrollment high schools. So this past year, we sent 10 kids to the selective enrollment high schools, the Whitney Youngs, the Westinghouses, and we're very proud of them. We have a young man who's now on the honor roll at Fenwick High School.
Great.
That's tremendous.
Great.
With 3 additional kids planning to attend this fall.
That's amazing.
We have 3 children that will be heading to Providence St. Mel this fall. And we also have one right now that's ready to commit, but probably an additional 2 who will be attending Loris College.
That's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
Now, how do young people get connected to Base Chicago? How does that work? Do they get connected through the schools, through the Catholic schools, through their neighborhood organizations? How does that work?
There have been many days that Frank and I, it seems we've been out 24 hours a day, recruiting kids, talking to kids, always handing out a business card, a flyer. They see us on social media. And what's really nice, because we currently have 362 kids.
That's tremendous.
Wow.
Wow.
From zero.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think when you talk about Mercy Boys Home and Girls Homes, they do such a fantastic job that the bar was set high for us when we went to the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a program that works.
Yes.
So for us, we were very happy to have a program to emulate. And there are some other good programs over there, but we never gave failure an opportunity to be an option. And that's what we're selling to our children. And our job is to not only keep them safe, but to make them productive citizens, which they're becoming, and to then circle back, come back to your community, and be the leaders and the shining lights of your community. And we're very happy to say that we're starting to see that.
Now, before we close, I want to ask Rich an important question. That is, Rich, you met Frank and Eric a few years ago. How has Base Chicago changed and touched your life?
I'm sorry, I missed that last point, Father Greg.
Yeah, the thing is, you met a few years ago. You met Frank and Eric, and it's been like a game changer for you. How has Base Chicago affected and touched your life?
So that's a great question, and I love that question because these 2 individuals and the kids learning. What's very important to me is having my children, my family, and my friends, everybody learn things outside the bubble of Glen Ellen where I live. I want them to understand exactly what's out there, what's happening, and meet people and get involved. I try to bring them to every event at the center, downtown. I want them to interact with the kids and get to know them and create bonds so then their friends can create bonds and just grow this thing organically. These 2 individuals, Frank and Eric, about your previous question before, are so passionate. When I first sat with them, I could have spent days listening to their stories. And if you get to know them, I promise everybody listening to this will become a good friend of theirs. Yeah. I guarantee you, like I have. It's just they're super inspiring, and it's been a fantastic friendship. And I look forward to having it grow. And your question about how people can help is Eric and Frank are doing as much as they can. There's more and more momentum getting behind us. It's huge in Boston.
Now, if people let me ask you, Rich, if people want to get involved and learn more about Base Chicago, how do they do it? What's your web?
So the website is thebase.org. That's the parent company out of Boston, and then you'll see the subsidiary Base Chicago inside there.
So it's thebase.org. So
yes.
Okay, and what about, is there a phone number, or is it go to the web?
Eric or Frank, you guys can chime in on that.
Yeah. You can reach us by email at edavis@thebase.org or fbrim@thebase.org.
Okay, that'd be E. Davis, D-A-V-I-S, and F. Brim, B-R-I-M. So say one more time, Eric.
edavis@thebase.org or fbrim@thebase.org.
We need to bring this program or this segment to a close. I want to thank in a very special way Eric Davis, Frank Brim, and Rich Schulz for joining us here today, this morning. A tremendous program called The Base Chicago. Gentlemen, your enthusiasm and energy comes right through the radio airwaves. I can't thank you enough. This has been a great half hour. And thank you for joining us, and God bless you and continued wonderful work in your ministry. You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM, 312-255-8408. Father Greg Sakowitz, Mark Teresi. The time is exactly 8:31 in Chicago. Stay with us and do not touch that dial.
The word made clear is exactly what its name implies. It's an easy-to-understand explanation of the Word of God, the Gospel. Hello, I'm Father James McElhone, Director of Biblical Formation for the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Catholic Charities Schreiber Center for Human Services is now open in Round Lake. Due to the pandemic, we are limited in the number of in-person programs that we currently can provide. However, a food pantry is open twice a week, and a Wednesday night supper is held with to-go meals every week. A wide range of senior services are now offered as well. If we can assist you or someone you know, please call us at 847-546-5733. That's 847-546-5733. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for
you. You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Archdiocese of Chicago presents programming about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Back to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM, 312-255-8408. Father Greg Sakowitz along with Mark Teresi. And Mark, that was a great first half hour.
It sure was. Boy,
talk about it. Energizing.
Passion in ministry. I mean, you could hear this is their vocation. They are called to this vocation to work with young people.
And they are truly passing it forward like they were given a chance when they were younger. And they remembered now to help a kid today the way they were helped 30, 40 years ago in their life. But our second half of the program is just as riveting and passionate. And the topic is aging, caregiving, and the third act. When it comes to aging and caregiving, aging especially, Mark, we can relate to that one.
Yeah, we're there.
So introduce our next wonderful guest.
So Joyce Gallagher is a former newspaper and TV reporter. She's head of cable and communications. She was head of cable and communications for the city of Chicago, as well as the commissioner of aging for the city of Chicago. So she tended to the aging population here in the city. Since retiring from the city a few months ago, Joyce has made it her mission to use her talents to spread the good news and has launched Gallagher Media and Consulting, LLC. Joyce recently joined the lay missionaries of St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta in Chicago. She's the head of the Celebrate Life initiative at Holy Name Cathedral. She's a proud mother of 10 children, grandmother of 22 children, and it sounds like she never stops.
Joyce Gallagher, welcome to the program. I've known Joyce since the summer of 1992 when I arrived at St. Mary of the Woods as the associate.
Wow.
And Joyce deeply involved in the parish way back then. Joyce, how are you?
I'm wonderful. So nice to be with both of you. Thank you.
And now,
Welcome.
Mark, you like this. I've been doing broadcasting and interviews, radio, for 42 years. And in 42 years, this is the very first interview that'll happen now in which 40 years ago, my father, or 30 years ago, interviewed Joyce Gallagher on his radio program.
Wow.
And now the son, me, also has an opportunity to interview Joyce. Am I right, Joyce?
That's right. That's absolutely right. It was in January of I think it was 2000. Exactly. Yes.
Was it
And the timing's perfect because you've aged.
Yeah.
But now, but I'll tell you something.
Not you, Joyce. Father.
Yeah, but I've aged,
Yes.
and Joyce, Joyce is an eternal 39, young looking and active. And now I've got to ask this question: you've been involved with all this, your background, Joyce, and plus raising a family of 10 children, beautiful children, I know them, and grandmother of 22. How did you get into this particular ministry? I know that you were head of the Commissioner of Aging for the City of Chicago. I'm sure you have many stories there. But all that you're even doing now, it seems like you don't slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you become so active in this particular area? What energizes you for this?
It really is my faith, because I truly believe that we were given gifts that we have to use. And from an early age, I was able to write. I've always been able to write. I thought everybody could write.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just feel like, going forward, that's something that I've always been able to lean on. And I was thinking about, when I was going to be coming on this program, it's a Catholic program and all Catholics are confirmed. And receiving the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit, I think what we're called to do is use the talents we've been given in, spreading the good news. So whether it doesn't matter what we're doing, as long as that's our intention. I think so many times it's the intention of what we're doing that, really makes our gifts come forward. So as long as we're able to, be here, I feel that's our call, to use our talents.
Now, Joyce, I have a lot of questions, but the one that fascinates me is that you recently joined the lay missionaries of St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta. What does
Yes.
that? I think it would be good for people to hear. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, well, it's for me, it's being in this world, which is very, very big, and there's so many voices out there, and it's a wonderful to get under an umbrella of faith and prayer. And the lay missionaries are following the charisms of Mother Teresa. And I was fortunate to meet her. I actually covered Mother Teresa's speech in Washington, D.C. with the Chicago Catholic.
Wow.
I think it was in 1983 or 4. And I met her briefly. She was coming down a hallway, and she bowed to me and kept going. So years later, I'm in City Hall, and her sisters come in, and they're kind of confused and looking around. And I didn't walk to them. I think I felt like I flew to them and said, "How can I help you?" And so I've been with them since probably 1996, probably. And it was just recently that I decided to join their lay ministry, which really is more prayer-centered.
Oh, wonderful.
And yes, and so, it's just, some people join the Carmelites. It's just, it's an ability to have that prayer support that we all need.
Wonderful.
So,
We're going to take a little break. WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial, Catholic Chicago. We're speaking with Joyce Gallagher. Joyce, when we come back, maybe you could talk a little bit about, as we look at aging, particularly with your job as Commissioner of Aging for the city, what are areas of concern that you have and that maybe we can respond to as Catholics here in Chicago? So we'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities staff members work every day to end poverty and homelessness. We do this on a one-to-one basis with anyone who asks for help. We also work with organizations who study these issues across our city, state, and nation. The Wilson Sheehan Lab for Economic Opportunities, or LEO, at the University of Notre Dame is one of these research centers. Through our partnership with LEO, Catholic Charities has gained valuable insights into scientific evaluation methods that determine the most effective interventions to help people avoid poverty and homelessness. Along with our experience and compassion, trusted research is helping Catholic Charities offer hope and so much more to anyone in need. For more information, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Supich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We're back, Catholic Chicago, 750 AM on your dial, 312-255-8408. We're speaking with Joyce Gallagher, Aging, Caregiving, and the Third Act, parishioner at Holy Name, Joyce Gallagher, who and head of the Celebrate Life initiative. Thank you for your leadership in that. And my question when we took the break was, as the head of the Commissioner of Aging for the City of Chicago, what are some concerns of you? What are priorities that you saw in that position that we need to address?
It really is a bigger question to our culture, and it's that there is a huge ageism, and a lot of people really do not want to deal with aging because it, is a heralder of, the demise of the person. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people will make eye contact with children, but, will make the elderly become invisible in some sense. And I feel that that's a universal problem. It isn't, just one in this country, although some countries and some cultures truly revere their aged for being the prophets and the teachers. I've parsed the book of Henry Nouwen. I have a blog that I really deal with the aging subject. And, basically he talks about the fact that until we make friends with that aging person inside of us, we truly don't live a full life, and we're not able to give to the next generations the fullness of what we've learned. And the key is to making people pay attention to that. And that is, more or less something that has to come from each individual to reach out to those elderly that are either in their families, on their blocks, in church, and make a friend with that person, because in that way they're making friends with their own aging process. And I really believe, as far as the city, which is probably universal, is the fact that people don't know about the programs that are available. They back into crisis. Mm-hmm. So there are so many government programs that can support the aging. So there's Meals on Wheels that is an entitlement, so it doesn't matter people's income. If they are homebound, they are entitled to those meals. And there's many, many programs that are out there that people can avail themselves of. But very often, they only reach out in crisis, and then they're playing catch-up. And so I just, hope that everyone takes the opportunity by calling. In the city of Chicago, it would be 311. But, in every neighborhood, in every region of the state of Illinois, there's an area agency that can help individuals that are either aging themselves or caregivers of individuals and get that help that they're entitled to. So I think that's the biggest fault right now.
Yeah, Joyce, I have a question just in your talking, which is so rich with content, and that is, when it comes to aging and all the work you've done as commissioner in our own aging process, what are some of the biggest myths that you deal with about aging? You talk to people or organizations. What sometimes frustrates you in terms of the myths that you want to say that is not true?
That individuals, once they are not productive in the eyes of the world, are useless. And so I believe that so many times people are discounted just because of age, and it's almost like, well, why would you bother kind of attitude that is out there. But the truth of the matter is, these very often are someone's son, brother, father, and maybe they've just been, their children have left the city. I would say 20% of the seniors living in the city are living in isolation right now. And that truth, became known, when there are crises, either weather-related or even now COVID. Those are the individuals that pass away unseen, behind closed doors. So I really feel it's person to person. It's us reaching out. Henry Nouwen says, make friends with the stranger inside of you, and relate to those strangers. that is basically, I think, the biggest problem is the fear of approaching someone and engaging with them.
It's interesting, Joyce, when you talk, and that is, we have to go to break here, but I always find with the elderly, they are the wisdom figures of our community.
Yes.
They need to be listened to because of their experience. In fact, I'm very dear friends with my first pastor, Father George Kane, who is now 95 years old, still says Mass out in Schaumburg at Church of the Holy Spirit. And about 30 years ago, when he was in his 60s, I thought he was old then because I was in my 30s. I said, George, you're such a man of such wisdom. I said, how'd you get all this wisdom? He looked at me and says, Greg, live life and listen to life. And I thought I was expecting some profound answer. He said, live life and listen to life, of course, rooted in prayer. And George Kane is one of the most wisdom-filled people I know. He's the third oldest priest in the Archdiocese at 95 and going strong. Mark, take us to break.
WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408. Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Tracy. We're talking with Joyce Gallagher, and when we come back, I'd like to share a little grandparent story with Joyce, and it's related to aging. And then I want to get her reaction. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths aged 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
We invite you to watch Catholic Chicago this weekend, featuring a conversation with Cardinal Blaise Cupich and video highlights from across the Archdiocese. Here's host Todd Williamson.
The effort to get vaccinated, why the Church is helping to spread the word. We'll go inside the classroom as a national study shows how Chicago's Catholic schools are keeping students on track during the pandemic. And too many people are going hungry. We'll visit a food pantry where Catholics are working to meet that need.
Watch Catholic Chicago Friday at 7 p.m. on Chicago Loop Cable, Channel 25, and Sunday afternoon at 3 on the Comcast Network, Channel 100.
We're back. WNDZ, 750 AM, Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Tracy here with Joyce Gallagher. Joyce, the short story is a birthday party for our Lydia, who was 6 on Saturday. The twins are 4 years old, sitting on my lap, and they noticed the hearing aid in my ear, and I explained that the battery went out, and Grandpa, needs batteries, so I can't really hear. I took them out, and they start yelling, "Can you hear me now? Can you?" And I thought, well, there's, what you were talking about.
Moment.
Yeah, what you were talking about in terms of aging, there's got to be a sense of humor connected to this too for us.
Oh my goodness, that is the key to not only, look at yourself that way, but everything surrounding you, and that is definitely the key to youth.
Yeah, I tell people that my left knee goes out more than I do.
Well, I just have a funny story about my granddaughter who said to her mom, "Don't tell," they call me Mama, but she's 6, because I love to play. I love to get on the ground. I love to play, and that is the key. That is the secret.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I have a question for you, Joyce, and that is, the title for today was Aging, Caregiving, and the Third Act.
Yes, sir.
What are you referring to about the third act?
Well, sometimes, when we get to that place in our lives when we've retired from our jobs, or our duties with children or caregiving elderly parents are no longer necessary, we have to create for ourselves the next act, the next scene, what we want it to look like. We can't go into this with intentions, because what happens is, if there's a vacuum, it'll get filled up with unnecessary things. So just taking I love to write, so just taking that opportunity to say, okay, this is my intention. I'm going to share the good news. And to do that, I'm going to create this platform. And so, that's what I'm doing. And then one of the things I miss most about my job is the day-to-day face-to-face contact with people that I was serving. So I've joined the Harbor Lights Board of Salvation Army, the Chicago Help Initiative. So I can actually, be face-to-face with individuals, because that is my joy. So I think just assuming that you're going to just relax and play golf, you can only play so much, right? You really have to take your talents and your gifts and use them.
Now, in order to do that, did you actually, because I saw this in the ARP magazine, they were talking about you have a written plan for retirement. So you're not going overboard, but you do have like primary goals. Did you actually think that through? And
well, can I tell you something so funny? So, Father was talking about Father Kane, how he was 60, so you thought that was old. Well, when you're 60, you don't think that's old.
Right.
So, for the last 15 years that I've been head of aging, I've been talking to people about, now don't retire without a plan. And so as I was approaching my retirement, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to take my own advice, because no, I've seen the enemy and he is us, right? So, I had to really be intentional, because that was that was what I was telling others. And so, yes, I really fully support that, because you'll get into favorite TV programs. There'll be, you'll set a routine, but it may not be a routine that is life-giving.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember when I was very young, my mother would say, Greg, as you get older, life goes faster. 'Cause I was a kid saying, oh, Mom, I'm so bored. I have nothing to do. It was summertime, and I was looking at 6, 7 years old. And she says, Greg, as you get older, life goes so fast.
Yes.
And Mom was right.
Yes.
Mom was right. But we need to bring this program to a close. So I want to thank in a very special way Joyce Gallagher. Our topic today has been aging, caregiving, and the third act. Joyce, you are an outstanding woman of faith, and you are so young looking, and you are young. And so thank you for joining us today on the program, and I'll see you back at the cathedral, because I know you're very active over there. So thank you for joining us, and love to the whole family. Special thanks also to co-host Mark Teresi, and we've had today as our producer, engineer, coffee maker is Brian Hockey Hitman Brock. Brian, excellent job today. To our listeners, God bless, have a wonderful week, and go Ramblers.
Yes.
Hey, Ramblers, I was there in '63.
Oh, great.
Oh, my God,
great,
that's terrific. That's a great finish, Joyce.
God bless.
Thank
I'm
you,
going to
sir.
work on my third act now.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.